Hello, my dear friends. Today I'm talking about national birth charts. How to read a horoscope of a country. No matter we are humans or countries, there is a chart for each of it. What is important to analyze in the nation chart? For example, the sun of a chart of a country is the collective identity. It shows what the country wants to become, its ideals, and the face it represents to the world. A country with the sun in a fire sign will be bold, dramatic, and ambitious. A country with the sun in a water sign will be introspective, emotionally sensitive, and attuned to historical traumas. And here is the fun fact. Even a perfectly placed sun can be tested by the slow, heavy planets, Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus. The moon is the nation collective emotions and instinctive responses. It shows how the people react to crises, how traditions form, and what kind of collective anxieties or enthusiasm exist. A country with the moon in a water sign will be emotional, loyal to tradition and sensitive to trauma. A country with the moon in the air sign will be adaptable, communicative, and ready to shift direction when the political wind changes. Actually, moon is the people of that country. The rising sign of a nation chart might be the type of the nation, gives the visible personality, while the sun and moon provide the deeper identity and emotional tone. Together, three of these give the country its cosmic character. The main problem of a birth chart of a country is to answer to the question, when exactly was it born, the country? Many times the moment of the birth of the country is unknown. Did it happen to the moment the Declaration of Independence was signed, or when the first government sat down at the table, or maybe when the Constitution was ratified? The classic choice for countries that declared themselves independent from a colonial power. The advantage is that legally documented and widely accepted. The problem is signing doesn't always equal functioning government. Sometimes the people didn't even know it happened until later. For example, the USA is often cast for 4th of July 1776 on Philadelphia. That moment screams freedom, idealism, and revolutionary energy. But if you look closely, the first effective government meetings happened months later, introducing nuance, Saturnian delays, and a bit of historical bureaucracy. Focuses on when the country actually got up and running, represents practical functioning and administration. This is perfect for nations that were declared on paper but were politically powerless at first. The chart captures the real operational energy, not just the ideals. Some other people, astrologers, choose symbolic moments. First flag rising, first national anthem, even a key victory in a battle. Okay, it emphasizes national mythos and public identity, but it's purely symbolic and less precise. But we have some tools to use as astrologers. Rectification. Using historical events, war, revolutions, treaties, to reverse engineer the chart. Another tool, to use 12 p.m. as a neutral placeholder if nothing else is available. Accurate for planetary positions, but house placements may be off. If you want to explore a nation chart yourself, choose the most widely accepted historical moment first for most countries. This is either Independence Day or Constitution Day. Use noon as a placeholder if time is unknown. Better to have an approximate chart than nothing. Check historical events for rectification clues. Wars, revolutions, or major treaties often mark shifts that can hint at house placement. An important source of charts of many nations, you can find it on astrodatabank.com. I will let a link down below to find there. Let's see how the ascendant or rising sign are working due to the zodiac sign that we have on the rising sign, on the first house. Aries rising. The country is energetic, direct, action-oriented, loves being first, leading wars or innovation, often impatient, sometimes reckless in diplomacy, with revolutionary tendencies and bold initiatives. Taurus rising. Country is steady, grounded, and cautious, focused on resources, stability, and wealth. Rarely acts impulsively, may be too stubborn at times. A country that builds slowly but ensures long-term prosperity. Gemini rising. It's adaptable, communicative, curious, skilled at negotiation, media, and trade. Can be inconsistent or scattered if overextended. Clever diplomacy, global cultural influences. Cancer rising. Protective, emotional, rooted in tradition. Strong ties to citizens' welfare, family-oriented policies. Can be overly sensitive in foreign affairs. Nations that prioritize national identity. Leo rising. Bold, dramatic, commanding attention. Loves to be admired, show power and culture. Can sometimes appear arrogant or theatrical. Nations with a strong cultural or military presence. Virgo rising. Practical, detail-oriented, service-focused. Prioritizes efficiency, law, and order. Can be critical, overly cautious. Countries that excel in bureaucracy, health, or tech. Libra rising. Diplomatic, charming, fairness-oriented. Skilled at treaties and alliances, may struggle to take decisive action quickly. Nations that mediate or champion international law. Scorpio rising. Intense, strategic, and creative. Focused on power, transformation, and control. Can be mistrusted but commands respect. Nations that endure revolutions or crises and emerge stronger. Sagittarius rising. Adventurous, optimistic, expansive. Loves exploration, foreign trade, and cultural exchange. Can overcommit or take risky initiatives. Colonial histories, global influence, or bold ideologies. Capricorn rising. Serious, disciplined, authoritative. Strategic, goal-oriented. Values hierarchy and structure. Can appear rigid or overly cautious. Long-standing institutions, strong governance traditions. Aquarius rising. Innovative, unconventional, future-focused. Embraces technology, reform, and collective ideals. Can seem detached or unpredictable. Nations at the forefront of social progress or science. Pisces rising. Sensitive, compassionate, imaginative. Towards artistic or spiritual expression. Can be elusive, idealistic, or prone to escapism. Nations with cultural or humanitarian influence. Let's see how the slow-moving planets influence historical cycles and transformation. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So these are the planets that move slowly, but they leave a mark. These planets shape structural changes, revolutions, economic shifts, and deep transformation. Saturn, for example, in a national chart, it governs structure, authority, laws, and long-term responsibility. Its lessons are often hard, slow, and unavoidable. Saturn represents period of testing, challenges in governance, bureaucracy, and enduring hardships, but can build institutions, establish strong borders, and ensure long-term stability. Also can show crises, oppressive policies, or economic struggles. For example, a nation with Saturn on the 10th house of government may have a long history of discipline, bureaucracy, or strong leadership structure, but also recurring power struggles or political stagnation. Saturn's timing aligns with decades-long lessons. Revolutions may emerge after prolonged dissatisfaction, but reforms tend to be structured and lasting. Uranus, it shows where a nation will experience sudden upheavals, technological breakthroughs, or social revolutions. Uranus in a national chart sparks unexpected events, radical reforms, or revolutionary ideologies. Encourages modernization, social progress, scientific advancement, but can bring instability, civil unrest, or chaotic reforms. For example, the France Revolution, it's an Uranian moment, sudden, radical, and reshaping the nation forever. Uranus doesn't care about tradition. It wants progress, innovation, and excitement, whether the nation is ready or not. When it's about Neptune, governs ideals, spirituality, culture, and sometimes illusions. So it shows collective imagination, cultural influence, and visionary aspiration. Neptune in a country's chart inspires art, religion, ideology, or utopian visions. Cultural flourishing, visionary leadership, humanitarian achievements, but can bring confusion, deception, unrealistic policies, or ideological crises. So, nations with strong Neptune influence often lead in music, cinema, philosophy, or social ideals, but they may also face periods of propaganda, mass illusion, or idealism clashing with harsh realities. When it's about Pluto, it's power, transformation, death, and rebirth on a national scale. It governs major structural changes, revolutions, and long-term evolution of power. Indicates period of intense transformation, crisis, or rebirth. Deep reform, renewal, empowerment, resilience. Revolutions, authoritarian regimes, collapsing, or intense social conflict. Many revolutions, regime changes, and profound social transformations are coinciding with Pluto transit. Pluto doesn't do small changes, it remakes the national souls. So the cycles of these big and slow planets are important on the mundane astrology and also in the charts of the nations. Because Saturn has a cycle of around 30 years, Uranus of 84 years, Neptune 165 years, Pluto 248 years. And sometimes these planets are making aspects that give us information about big cycles in history. When it's about the houses, how they are working in a natal chart of a nation, I will let you down below a link with a video about this topic. Also, the transits and progressions are very important. How they are working and influence a natal chart of a nation. And these transits and progressions can indicate economic booms or recessions, political upheaval or reforms, social movements and cultural renaissance, national disasters or external threats. Next time I will look to the natal charts of some nations, United States, European Union. There are countries that want to be together in a way or another. It's a treaty from Maastricht. China and Russia. I'm waiting your comments and questions down below. Tell me from which country you are and if you know the natal chart of your country, and if you want me to look over it and to see how it is, the situation. So I wish you all the best.